Alrighty, everyone, let's just hop into this quick. We are going to talk about today the Derek Chauvin trial and just my general thoughts on the matter. So I understand that this is a little bit late because the decision was made early last week, but I had other videos going up, so whatever. If you've been living under a rock, though, he was found guilty on all charges. Maximum sentence he can get is, I believe, 40 years, which, considering his age, would be the equivalent of a life sentence. He would not be getting out before he died. I've In all honesty, the way I look at it is this. At absolute most, due to negligence, he's guilty of manslaughter. But even with that, I still believe you have to prove that the knee on Mr. Floyd's neck had anything to do with his death at all, and I don't believe the prosecution proved that. I don't even believe they tried to prove that. I think that the prosecution treated this as theater. They went, like, almost all the people they had take the stand, the prosecution specifically, all they really talked about was opinions, feelings, and ethics. Because the only one that even remotely presented any sort of case against Chauvin that wasn't feelings based was the chief, I believe it was the chief of police in Minneapolis. And, you know, he would talk about his role in the company, and stuff, and then he kept referencing back to ethics. And what ethics essentially is it's PR based. Does this look good? Is this a good look that a black man died while you were arresting him? And I think the answer to that is no. It's not a good look if anybody dies while you're arresting them. Even if it's completely the person who's getting arrested's fault, it's not a good look. But especially right now, with, you know, BLM marching around and whatnot, then it's definitely not a good look. You got the media against you and everything, and it's a shit look. Every time a black person dies at the hands of the cops, the media will edit the clip, they will lie, and they will make sure to reference as much as possible that the person that died was black. That is all they care about. They want to create this narrative that cops are going to kill black people. And they are going to do it because it creates tension, it creates riots, and riots create cash because they will be right there to fucking cover it. And then to make matters worse, at least, you go back 12 years ago. At least back then, when it was a riot, they called it a fucking riot. Now, they'll be covering a riot, but they'll say peaceful protest. So not only are you using racial tension to create riots so then you can go out and cover them, but then to make matters worse, then you're lying about what they are. And that really irritates me. And then you got the politicians doing the same thing. They'll go, oh, peaceful protests. It's not. I don't care what anybody says when you've got this many major cities where this much shit is happening. And it's not even just that. There are small that have been hit by riots. This is not even just a major city thing. There are towns in certain areas of the country where if you go through them, there will be boards up on their windows and they'll say, we support BLM, please don't burn us. Please don't attack us. It's just like, how can you support this? How could you possibly support this? And the guilty verdict happened. There's nothing that can be changed about that. The closest thing you could do to change it, which there absolutely is grounds for an appeal, but it would be an appeal. I don't know if he'll get it because people understand all across the country what's going to happen if they do that. But there is definitely grounds for it. The prosecution sandbagged the defense team, which you're not supposed to do that in the court of law. That's actually like, I don't remember what rule that actually is under, but there's actually a lawyer who has their own YouTube channel that I've watched before. Legal Eagle, I believe his name is. And he was actually reviewing the legality part of Liar Liar, and when Jim Carrey enters in the evidence that his person that he's representing, who signed a prenup and then cheated on her husband, he at the last second enters in this evidence that she was a minor when she signed the prenup. And he brings up that rule. You're not supposed to sandbag the other side. You can't just enter shit in last second. And the judge even warned the prosecution that they would declare a mistrial if they did it. And then they did it anyways, and the judge just tucked his balls between his legs and fucking sat on it. He didn't do a goddamn thing. At this point, I don't even know what the fuck you're gonna do, because there was countless grounds for mistrial, or at the very least sequestering the jurors. It also doesn't help that they had one of the jurors, granted this person ended up being an alternate, but they didn't find out till much later into the trial that they actually were an alternate. But they were driving through the riots. They lived in the area where this shit was happening. So you had the prosecution sandbag the defense team. The prosecution belittled the defense team. You had all these politicians going out and talking about how things like Maxine Waters, if it's not a guilty, we'll have to get more confrontational, which actually there's a part of that quote that gets left out where she brings up first degree murder. So if he's not found guilty of first degree murder, they'll have to get more confrontational. And it's like Joe Biden got involved at some point. And then the news is constantly showing the riots and shit. You had 2 more incidents happen around the time of this verdict. But there is grounds for an appeal. It might happen. It might not. I don't honestly know. But at this point, to the police officers that live in these areas, I cannot feel sorry for you anymore. I will not feel sorry for you anymore. Because you know the politicians there, unless you're doing what the politicians want, they hate you. They vilify you. They talk about slashing your budget and all this other just glorious shit that just would work out so well. But they go out of their way to remind the public that they hate you and that they don't want you there. The media will make up every story in the book. They will outright edit clips. Like with the kid that got shot in Chicago. They edit down the clip. Blatantly edit it down. So that you can't see the part where the kid has the gun behind his back. And you can't even actually see the part where he throws it away. Which any sudden movement at that point is going to get you killed. You're not supposed to make sudden movements when you have a dangerous weapon on hand and then you have the cops involved. Any sudden movement can get you killed. No matter what your race is. The Ohio shooting, or they freeze the clip so that you don't see the 15-year-old girl trying to thrust the knife into this other woman. They freeze it, and at that point you just hear the audio, and then they try to say, oh, they claim there was a knife there, and then they show the knife on the ground. It's like, at this point, what are you doing? There is a cop that, I don't remember where he lives, but he donated to, Kenosha kid. What the fuck's his name again? So long ago that this happened. Just give me one moment here. Oh yeah, fuck it, I'm stupid. Kyle Rittenhouse. He donated to Kyle Rittenhouse. And his defense team specifically. Talking about how the entire police department supports Kyle Rittenhouse. And by that I mean his specific police department. He got fired for that. And all the cops that worked with him, as far as I know, none of them have resigned. It's like, you guys are some of the most spineless motherfuckers I have ever met at this point. Why are you still working for these departments? The heavy blue areas. Why are you working for these politicians? The only time they give a crap about you is when they need their own protection. Why not just tell them to fuck off and quit? At this point, I am encouraging police officers to quit, because it is doing you no good to keep working for these goddamn cities anymore. If you work in any city that threatens to defund or disband the cops, that has a history of smearing you and mistreating you, get the fuck out and leave. Protect your family and leave. There are other police departments that'll hire you. Because and people don't realize this or just don't care. Cops work shitty hours. They really do, and especially in the areas where a lot of these politicians are smearing them and telling them that they are not wanted. The amount of shit that they will see when they answer a call is enough to give people fucking post-traumatic stress disorder. It's enough to make people put a bullet in their fucking head. You are underpaid, underappreciated, and unwanted. Leave. Give these cities what they fucking want and leave. Hopefully, Derek Chauvin gets what he should and they appeal it, because I'm not saying he's a saint, but the prosecution, A, overcharged him, and B, the jurors very, very clearly were influenced by the shit going on outside. Either that, or they were jurors who already had the preconceived notion that he was guilty, in which case, either way, it should have been declared a mistrial because they have biases towards the case. This is why you never, and I mean never, see trials take place in the district that the case happened. Unless it's like a minor case, like a traffic violation or a DUI. If it's a murder case or a rape case or anything really severe that involves prison time, it almost never takes place in the district it happened. But let's shout out Derek Chauvin in Minneapolis. We're gonna put him on trial in the city where this incident happened, and we're gonna wonder why it was guilty on all charges. Like, come the fuck on, people. I don't know, but like I said, outside of that, you want to talk about police? Leave. They don't want a police department. Let them live without a police department. Because at this point, it's not worth it. And to BLM specifically, quit trotting out Martin Luther King Jr. like you're doing his work. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream is dead, people. It really is. It's dead. He wanted a society where you are judged on the content of your character and not your skin color. And that it's the complete opposite. At least as far as the media goes. If you're a criminal, career criminal at that, and but you're black, they will go out of their way to try and paint you as a saint, when that could not be further from the truth. George Floyd, for example, countless sentences for drug use, impersonated a federal official, drew a gun on a pregnant chick, robbed her. I don't like it. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream is dead. That's about as simple as it gets. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, peace.